force between Tank Davis and Lamont Bug Jr. arrived at a breaking point at their new pre-battle question and answer session, with Davis conveying a killing admonition. "I'll hurt you terrible." The two warriors are set to conflict in what vows to be an undeniably exhilarating session that has the boxing scene nervous, with the two men having hazardous influence and a longing to demonstrate their strength. The strain paving the way to this battle has been substantial. Gervonta Davis, known for his staggering knockout influence and tenacious hostility in the ring, is falling off a progression of great triumphs with a close to consummate record. Davis has set up a good foundation for himself as quite possibly of the most dreaded contender in the lightweight and super featherweight divisions. His last battle against Blunt Martin was terrific, further establishing his standing as one of enclosing's chief finishers. Going to his session with Cockroach Davis is overflowing with certainty. His assertion, "I'll hurt you terrible," was a danger as well as an impression of his battling style, unwavering, strong, and frequently overpowering. He flourishes with terrorizing, utilizing his searing character to intellectually rule his adversaries even before the main punch is tossed. Dave's unstable exhibitions have made him a fan-one, yet they've additionally made a trauma center of certainty around his battles. Many accept that once Davis finds his musicality in the ring, it's inevitable before he handles the knockout blow. The Baltimore locals' tireless tension, sharp counter punching, and knockout proportion make him a risky adversary for anybody thinking for even a moment to hold him up on the opposite side of the ring. Lamont Bug Jr. enters this high-profile battle as the dark horse, yet don't be tricked by his status. Bug is a carefully prepared warrior with an abundance of involvement and the range of abilities to challenge Davis. Bug is known for his smooth boxing style, protective ability, and capacity to disappoint rivals, with his development and counter ability to punch. Bug, hailing from Washington, D.C., comes into not entirely set in stone to say something. He realizes that a success over a contender like Gervonta Davis would quickly drive him into super fame. At the public interview Bug stayed created in spite of Davis's animosity, deciding not to participate in similar verbal fighting. Rather, Bug zeroed in on his system. While Bug may not have similar knockout power as Davis, his ring intelligence level and capacity to change mid-battle could be key variables in this session. His safeguard first methodology will be tried against Davis's steady tension, yet in the event that Bug can climb at the early tempest and baffle his rival, he might track down chances to land his own shots. In the meantime, advertiser Eddie Hearn remains undeterred by Davis's choice to confront super featherweight Bug. As per Hearn, Davis had restricted options with the greater names inaccessible, making Bug the most reasonable choice for the battle. Any semblance of Edwin Dios Santos, Andy Cruz, Keeson Davis, and Raymond Morella aren't any more well-known than Lamont Bug. Regardless of whether Tank Davis had picked one of them as his rival, their names wouldn't resound with relaxed boxing fans, and the battle probably wouldn't produce more compensation per view purchases than his matchup with Bug. Eddie Hearn imparted his considerations to Battle Center Point Television, proposing that the backfire online was a cycle cruel, while recognizing the boundless analysis. Hearn stressed that Lamont Bug is a skilled contender by his own doing. The main problem he made sense of is Bug's absence of name acknowledgement, given Tank's height in the boxing scene. Fans were expecting all the more high-profile matchups, something this battle misses the mark. Regarding conveying the ruckus isn't on the grounds that Bug is a moderately obscure figure to some. The main problem originates from diehard boxing lovers who know about him, and they hold on to little craving to see him face Tank Davis. Concerning easygoing watchers, they likely won't mind since most are new to Davis's past adversaries. Beside Ryan Garcia, Tank's group has been cautious in choosing his matchups, avoiding fan-natural rivals to protect him like an important product. While this approach has saved his undefeated record, it has additionally checked his likely profit on the off chance that he had taken on additional conspicuous challengers throughout recent years. His monetary profits might have been fundamentally higher. Hearn brought up that boxing devotees would see the value in the counterpart for what it was. However, he recognized the size difference. Bug, a super featherweight, was outstandingly more modest than Tank. He explained that while he didn't think the battle was terrible, it confronted analysis generally in light of the fact that Lamont Bug needed name acknowledgement. Hearn likewise raised worries about Tank's choices, taking note of that Tank appeared to try not to confront Shocker, who had his own mishap with a physical issue. Tank versus Bug appears to be bound to follow the content of Tank's last battle against Honest Martin, an uneven conflict right from the initial time. Anyway, the dissimilarity between the warriors is even starer this time, with Bug's absence of force making him No genuine risk or challenge to Tank Bug appears to be a low-level rendition of Shocker Stevenson, which probably makes sense of why Tank chosen him. It seems like Bug is filling in as tune-up battle preparing Tank for an expected face-off, with Shocker here and explained that few potential adversaries for Tank were off the table, taking note of that Haney was dormant. A Ryan Garcia rematch wasn't feasible, and Pitbull Cruz, who had likely been their planned matchup, had proactively experienced a misfortune. He further added that Valen wasn't ready for an episode of that type. While recognizing the analysis, Hearn surrendered that Tank versus Bug wouldn't pull in that frame of mind, notwithstanding it being a strong battle that hadn't grabbed the public's eye yet. Mentor Stephen Edwards challenges the far and wide conviction that the Gervin Davis versus Lamont Bug battle is a simple pick for Davis. While numerous pundits view the session as lacking certifiable rivalry, Edwards takes an alternate position. However, he doesn't anticipate Bug pulling off a resentful, he immovably dismisses the possibility that WBA lightweight top dog Tank Davis is singling out his adversary's fans are progressively baffled by what they see as an unbalanced battle, with a large part of the failure originating from Tank's propensity for picking disappointing rivals over his 11-year vocation on the off chance that he had sporadically faced top-level gifts like Vasyl Lomachenko, Edwin Dos Santos, or Shocker Stevenson. An intermittent, simpler session with contenders like Lamont Roach or Rally Romero could have been excused. Rather, Tank's profession has felt like a progression of tidbits with fans left sitting tight for the fundamental course that never shows up. I don't feel it's a filter out on the grounds that I thought they planned to battle in the places where they grew up in light of the fact that they live in DC and Baltimore. I think they believe it's a single out due to how profoundly they consider Tank, said Stephen Edwards, in spite of the fact that Edwards might excuse the possibility that the matchup among Davis and Bug is a carefully select, the more extensive boxing local area, holds an alternate assessment. The two fans and examiners expressed their dissatisfaction seeing Tank as being purposefully matched against simpler contests. This approach is viewed as a method for dragging out his vocation by diminishing the dangers he faces, all while upgrading his standing past what his abilities genuinely warrant, said Stephen. They see Tank like he ought to be battling Teofimo Lopez Devon, Haney, and Shocker Stevenson. He hasn't battled those folks yet, so they think about him so exceptionally that anything short of that will seem to be a carefully select. I don't figure he can beat. Tank has gained notoriety for bringing down less prepared warriors, including Rally Romero, straight to the point. Martin and Isaac Cruz. These matchups displayed his inclination to rely more upon his knockout ability than on refined boxing procedures, featuring an example of key matchmaking that defends his undefeated record. This matchup is turning out to be a captivating specialized challenge supported by a noteworthy undercard. In spite of the fact that Tank is by and large seen as the leader, a few specialists and individual warriors are not totally precluding Lamont Bug's true capacity for a furious, then again, welterweight star. Kenneth Sims Jr., who has gone up against both Bug and Davis, shared his contemplations on the looming matchup. He featured the key systems every warrior should embrace to guarantee triumph. At first, the bossman decided to keep quiet on the battle, accepting that voicing expectations would be discourteous because of his accommodating binds with the two contenders in the long run. Anyway, he relaxed and pondered the remarkable encounters he and Bug had delighted in during their public semi-last conflicts. Anyway, the Illinois occupants expressed that since Bug and Tank are both counterpunchers, one of them needs to emerge from their usual range of familiarity to set the other one to open up for them. To win the battle, he likewise referenced Gervonta Davis's sluggish beginning and how it requires him an investment to find his mood. Tank begins slow, yet as the battle goes, he will get it, and afterward he get occupied, expressed Kenneth Sims. John Lamont Bug is a skilled contender, prestigious for his specialized ability and title family with regards to possible challengers for Gervonta Tank Davis in a compensation for each view occasion. Polly Malagi communicates an inclination for rivals who not just convey exciting exhibitions at the most significant level, yet additionally bring a convincing character that touches off discussion and interest. Polly Melly said Davis is a bona fide pay-view star, whether you concur that so large numbers of his battles ought to have been on pay-per-view, and I contradicted the majority of them. He's been laid out on pay-per-view for some time presently. The thing's been missing is the legitimate resistance important to charge those sorts of expenses. This matchup feels more like a reinforcement choice if Davis-Stevenson happens, particularly since Stevenson has needed to pull out because of injury, assuming that there were serious areas of strength for that Davis and Stevenson would meet in. The ring next this battle would hold more noteworthy importance anyway, that doesn't have all the earmarks of being what is happening at all. Milwaukee added, Davis must be viewed as a weighty one. As for Bug, on the off chance that he won, it would be the bombshell of the year and a matchup fit for creating the steamed of the year ought not be on pay-per-view. In a new meeting, Gary Russell Jr. released his contemplations on Davin Davis and Devin Haney, marking them as dull contenders. The previous featherweight champion asserted that Tank Davis, the WBA normal lightweight champion, is misdirecting fans via cautiously deciding to battle more fragile adversaries. Russell declares that Davis is deliberately evading harder difficulties to shield his undefeated status, denying enthusiasts of the thrilling matchups they desire. Tank Davis has clutched the optional WBA lightweight title for a drawn-out period, successfully sidestepping the harder fights that would unavoidably follow if he somehow managed to seek after the essential title.